Out there it goes. First time I've done the intro, guys. Sorry about that. Gotta get the timing down. Well, good evening. Welcome. This is a introduction to this year's 2025 Postcards from the Front. I got with me my good buddy Not Jay, aka Chris. How's it going, boss?
Doing well. Howdy to everybody out there. I see we got Chris Long out there. How you doing, Chris Long?
Hey, he's
Looks
cooking
like he's
dinner.
cooking
He
some
said.
dinner.
Yeah.
When,
Cook me
when
something,
when
boss.
when do we need to be there? When do we need to be there?
Yeah.
I got to plan this because BC is a bit of a haul for me.
Yeah, I got my private jet, so we can get there quickly. Not. Anyway,
There you go.
so
There you go.
I'm excited. We're going to go over kind of an overview of the game jam, what it's all about, what some of the restrictions are, when it starts, answer some questions, some. I'm going to FAQ some of the things that I've been asked typically in the past. I'll answer. If anybody out there in chat has any questions, feel free to throw them at us. And we're going to keep this short today. Maybe a half hour, unless it gets engaging, but not that we can't have an engaging 30 minutes. You know what I mean. So let me jump right in. The game jam will start. I got to pull it up on my screen here to get you the exact date, but November 8th at 12 a.m. in the morning. So we've got 4 days, 5 hours, 27 minutes, and 46 seconds. And that's when we will go ahead and start accepting submissions to the games that you've submitted. And you will have until May 5th. So Cinco de Mayo gives you a chance to recover from May the 4th, Star Wars Day. So one of the things that I want to talk about with this is, and I'll get into what the requirements are, but kind of why we run this game jam. A number of years ago, I had seen people talking about they don't want to do game contests. They're a little intimidated. They don't have time to design a game within the time frame of the contest. A whole litany of valid reasons. And I thought, well, what if there was a contest or game jam where some of those restrictions didn't exist? And as the old saying goes, become the solution yourself, something like that. I'm not good on remembering these things, but so what I did was I had a couple of conversations with some people on Twitter and kind of joked and said, "Oh, I should do a postcards game jam," and I was challenged, and so that's how that's how the first one started. And so when we talk about what you can submit, keep in mind the idea behind this whole jam is to eliminate barriers for designers so that there's less intimidation about a contest. You're not overly concerned about winning or losing. If you've got a design that you've maybe worked on or working on and you didn't want to stop it to do a contest, you could use that. Obviously, it's got to fit within the guidelines, what we're talking about doing here. So with that in mind, let me just kind of jump in and go over the basics of what we're looking for. So by the name Postcards from the Front, we'd like to see games that are designed that fit on a 5x7 postcard. Front and back can be used. Or what we're calling the Christmas card, which is actually a little bit larger than a standard Christmas card. We made it 8.5 by 11, or any metric equivalent if you're across the pond.
An A4.
An A4 on the letter size. I don't know what it is for the postcard size. I think it's slightly smaller than 5x7. So that's the basic format. And some of the questions that I get are, what about dice? Or what about playing pieces? And a number of a litany of other types of things that people want to maybe put into their game, or what they can put in and what they can't put in. And so the basic rule of thumb is you want to put all your rules that fit on the card. If it's a hex and counter style game, and it doesn't have to be a hex and counter style game, by the way, but if it was, you'd have your counters as part of the card. You'd cut those out, and then you have your map. So that's kind of the gist of what the postcard is. And the same guidelines go into play for the Christmas card, which again is 2-sided, 8.5 by 11. So things like if you use resolution with playing cards, or tarot cards, or dice, or Rochambeau, or whatever, that does not need to be part of your submission. You could just say use a 3 6-sided dice, or a pack of 52 cards, or whatever the case may be. Now, if you were to have custom cards, really that's beyond the scope of what we're looking for in this jam. So it's not like you do an 8, unless you can make it fit on a 8.5 by 11 or a postcard, and you cut it up. They'd be pretty small cards, but that would be fine. So that's kind of the guidelines as far as size and kind of content. Now, I don't want to start a civil war over the definition of what a war game is. And so I have a very, very loose interpretation of that. So as long as you're in the ballpark, no problem. In fact, if it's more of a historic type of game, that would be fine as well. So if you were doing something that's maybe socially or culturally based on history, events in history, that would be fine to do as a postcard or a Christmas card game. So again, I'm going to expand war game to include historical games. And on that point, this coming weekend is the San Diego Histicon from the 8th to the 11th. You may have seen that on the thumb. And for those of you who don't know, I actually live in San Diego. I've gone to Histicon the last 2 years. And this year, I'm coordinating a little bit with the con. I'm going to do on Saturday morning from 10 to 11 in the main room off the bar, I believe. I'm going to do an hour in-person session talking about the game jam, answering any questions, probably doing some design. If you are at the con and want to hang out and chit chat, drop by. I'll be there. Like I said, you'll see me around the con. I'll be there all 4 days. But specifically, I will be holding a session 10 o'clock Saturday morning. So again, pop in if you get a chance, say hi. If you happen to be doing a game, we can talk about it. Even if you got it to a point you want to play test it, I'll help you play test it during that time frame. So that's going to be an ongoing thing where I used to start the last 2 jams were started in December. I pushed this into a month forward just so that I can coordinate it with the Histicon game convention. So we're going to kind of do that as an annual thing. Let me look at my notes here real quick. Okay, we talked about the what, the why, when. So I think I told you from November 8th through May 5th. So you've got quite a bit of time to get a design done, get it submitted. And on that note, you don't have to have a game designed during that this time frame. If you've got a game that's 20 years old and you want to dust it off and use it, do it. If you wanted to start tonight on a design because you get inspired, go ahead and start. It doesn't matter. Again, I don't want any barriers for people to say, oh, I can't do it. I don't have time. I'm trying to get rid of all those excuses so that you can get in, enjoy yourself. And again, the goal is to eliminate those barriers and help build a really healthy, engaging game design community for historical style games. Ultimately, that's my goal. When you design a game, you own it. I'm not going to sell them. I'm not going to make any money off of them. I have no rights to it. It's all yours. The only thing I ask is if you put it up and we'll be hosting on itch.io. There'll be a link in the video description, which I didn't do. My bad. I'll make sure that that's there before the end of the night. In fact, I will copy it right now and put it into chat. Okay. And before I go much further, let me just take a look and see who's in chat, who's joined us tonight. I see we got about 5 people online. So Walkabout Games had popped in early. He's a good game designer. He's got some stuff. I won't talk about his stuff. I'll let him, if he wants to throw it up in chat. Hopefully we can persuade him to participate this year. Telemachus, hi boss, how are you? Nice to see that you're here. Hex to Hex, hey, thanks for stopping by, Jeff. Appreciate it. And Charlie, or Charles, sorry about that. I don't know why I said Charlie. Shame on me. You can beat me up next time we go shopping at the hobby store, my friend. So I put in chat a link to the itch.io. So the point being is, if you go on there now, you'll see the 2023, 2024 game jams. And also I did a card one. So the first year we had quite a bit of submissions. We had 48 submissions. And a number of games were picked up by publishers. A number of people took their designs, expanded them to make them larger, and multiple games came out of these designs. And there were a number of publishers that participated. Again, being a jam, nobody's ego's involved, right? And because I have a loose definition on some of these things, nobody's going to feel cheated if you do something that's, say, a game that you maybe entered in another game contest years ago and maybe won, and pulled it out, dusted it off, reformatted it to fit what we're looking for, and submitted it. Nobody's going to feel slighted or cheated because it's not a contest, right? So obviously I'm driving that point home because I want it to be about building that community of designers and building some fun games. So itch.io, the point that I was saying is, the one thing that I ask is, if you put your game up there and you do go on and sell it or publish it or do anything, is to just keep it up there so that people can gain access to it for free. I want it to be a resource. Over time, we're building up quite a collection of games. And so that's kind of my hope there. Chris, you've participated. You got some thoughts you want to add to what we're talking about?
So first off, thanks for letting me join you and be a part of this. It's always exciting to talk, gaming. But yeah, I submitted the first year, and this is I just printed it out. This was, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. I did print this one out.
That's from David Thompson.
By David Thompson, very professional level. It's, you would expect that from David Thompson, right? You would expect to have, best of the best.
Niels Johansson did all his artwork on that. The collab. Right. That was very cool.
But then you got mine, and there's the front, there's the back.
Great example.
And it's the thing I'm pointing out is, you don't have to have perfect graphics. Is this publish ready? I don't think so. But it gives you a good concept. So definitely, what you want to do is, when you are going to participate, don't get wrapped up about how's it going to look. Just get your rules fleshed out, and a decent representation of what what you want your graphics to look like, if they're playing pieces, what your playing pieces are going to look like. Because if by chance someone comes along and says, "Oh man, that would be great to put out on the market," at that point in time, you can worry about getting your graphics put together.
Yeah, there was an entry the first year where Snafu picked the game up to publish it. I don't think I'm saying anything out of pocket here. And they decided to make the game much larger than the postcard version, and the designer left the game up on the site. And but you get some exposure. Oh, by the way, Mike has joined us. Botticelli, hi,
Mr.
sir.
Botticelli,
How are you?
how you doing? Glad you could be here.
You're going to be at Histicon this weekend, I believe. We'll get a chance to play your game, which I have pre-ordered, by the way, Wolfpack. So that does not fit on a postcard or a 8.5 by 11. So that's a game that would not be available to put into our game jam. But nice. Good. I look forward to seeing you there, sir. So I think I've covered some of the FAQs, right? Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but no hate, no slavery, no human trafficking style games, blah, blah, blah. We're adults. When it comes to that type of stuff, I'm going to swing a pretty heavy hammer and not put it in. Just needs to be said. We'll move along. There's nothing to see here. So far, that's never been an issue. So I just want to keep it that way. So we talked about the schedule. Now, this particular podcast, in the past, I've done them on a weekly basis. And I got really excited about some of the stuff that I was doing and started doing 2 podcasts, and then work hit and life hit, and a lot of stuff kind of crumbled. And so last year's podcast, I didn't really give it its due, which is a shame, because we had, I think, 4 games that came in. One of them from Sebastian Bay, who is an amazing game designer, and he's a professional in the military. That's what he does. But this year and going forward, I've made a commitment to put the time and energy to really get this jam the attention that it deserves, to hit our goal of being a low barrier community building type of event. So last year was a bit embarrassing that real life got in the way. It is what it is. So we move on. But I just wanted to touch base on that in case you guys were looking at year 1 and year 2 and go, oh, it was only 4 games. Currently, we've got 12 people that have joined. Now, keep in mind, if you join this year and for whatever reason you don't get your game done, you can join next year and use the exact same game. Once you get it in, you're good. I know, Charles. We tried to get him a ticket. You do just show up and wander around. You might be able to sneak in. I don't know.
One thing to point out: the game that I submitted in 2003 was not the game I was originally thinking about getting on, onto the books, so to speak. It got down to where we were literally a day away from needing the submissions done, and I just could not make the game I was wanting to put out get onto that size card. It wasn't happening. And so I was driving home from Kansas City back to West Central Illinois, and in that 3.5 hours, I came up with this. So now what I'm going to do is, because we've gone from just this size to this size, I think I might be able to get what I want from my original concept into the game jam. So I'm going to go ahead and utilize this chance to put it in there. So I'm a perfect example of, just because I didn't go from, okay, I can't think about anything, any game design or anything until November 8th. And I have to have everything turned in by May 5th. No, I'm pulling something that I've had on my plate for the last 2 years, and I'm going to work on that. Now,
Nice.
there's another one that you and I are working on.
Uh-huh.
We started thinking about it today.
It doesn't quite fit the theme, though.
No, but if you there can be historic relevance. There
Good
could be
point.
historic
Good point.
relevance.
Good point. Well,
But the point is, it's even if you think about something right now,
yeah.
it's still early. We're 5 days away from this, getting going. So whether it's something that's been in the back of your brain for the last 20 years, or it's something, man, that sounds like a good idea. I think I got an idea that I want to run with.
Uh-huh.
Or if it's literally the last weekend in May before we close down. If you think you got something and you can get it written out and put in there.
Or if you participated in the past, we had over 100 entrants the first year, and 48 games were submitted, which is just crazy good.
Yeah.
And you didn't finish your game that year. Again, you can use it this year.
Yeah, and don't think don't think that you are in competition with Sebastian Bay or
David Thompson,
because you're not. You're not in a competition. It's a I don't want to call it a brainstorming session because
or Thomas Van Hare, by the way.
Yeah.
Or Mark Walker. These are all guys who submitted games. A few others.
They do this. I don't know if they do it for a living, but they definitely do it for pay. They're professional game designers, but don't think you're in competition with them because you're not. You're just saying, "Hey, I got this great idea. Let me get it out there in a, either a completed format or a format that says, hey, here's an idea. I want to put it out there and see if someone comes along and say, oh, you know what? That's a really good idea. I'm going to contact that guy. Hey, what would you say if we worked together, collaborated, and did something with this? It can happen. Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
We got all the smart mics in the house tonight.
Hey, you got all the smart Chris in the house also.
Oh, yeah, this is true.
We don't have Ninguea.
Well, okay, so we don't have the smartest of the Chris's in the house.
Watch it, buddy.
I'm just saying. I mean,
you're not wrong.
No.
Oh, now we got the smartest Chris in the house.
Okay, there we go. So think back. I mean, I know you're old, and 2 years is like a lifetime. But any suggestions or tips for potential designers, challenges that this format, either the format, now you did the smaller format because that's all we had the first year, right. But anything that really stuck out to say, hey, this is something you want to think about with your design, or any suggestions you might want to give the people?
Make the rules as concise as possible.
Number one.
Yeah, just don't overcomplicate it. This is not, we're not.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of real estate.
We're not wanting to put out.
It's not case blue.
That.
Yeah.
Look how big this thing is.
I know.
Yeah,
it's huge.
We're not doing that. So make sure the rules are what Chris says. KISS system is your friend. Yeah, keep it simple, silly.
So I'm going to throw you a question, and it's something I've been thinking about, and I want to see if there's a consensus on whether this would fit into the guidelines of what we're doing. And that is, we're talking about postcards and Christmas cards. What about a miniature game where the miniatures clearly are not on the cards, What are your thoughts on that? We don't need an answer tonight. I'm going to bring it up. We've got
Sure.
months. We can allow this after the start date.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're already allowing for
Jeff.
dice or cards, um, as extra components. Um,
Probably a bit much. Is what I'm thinking.
I think it is. I think it is. The only way I think you get around that is if
They're
you,
markers as opposed to like a one-page rules kind of thing.
right. Well, if you want to call it a miniatures game and not just a hex and counter game or a board
Right.
game, you would have to include little standees because then it becomes 3-dimensional.
Right.
And then later on, you can replace
Because
the
I
standees
do
with
one of the requirements with your hex and counter games is that your counters are part of the
are
board.
part of that. Yes.
So if you wanted to do a miniature game that was sumo wrestling, I guess that would be
Yeah, you could have 2 sumo standees
yeah,
that are
or
part of
hand-to-hand
the
combat
card.
in a trench, however you
Yeah,
want to skin that.
yeah.
That would
As long as
be
they're
acceptable.
yeah, as long and then later on you could then say, hey,
Tell Mike has
if
said
you
standees. Good job, boss.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's exactly what
Oh, 4
you know.
maps. Well, that would be 4 postcard size fitting on 8.5 by 11, but you'd have to really make the rules small.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Um, that's the other thing is, not only do the rules must, you know, make sure that the rules are concise, but make sure that they're legible in a small enough font.
Right.
So I do think I did a pretty good job of getting,
Oh yeah,
a
you got quite
concise
a bit of
rules,
room on yours.
you know, but
Although I
it's still
did play
very
the
legible.
game and it was so broken, it didn't work because I misread the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I would have played it correctly, it would have worked. So uh, with the podcast, I kind of went on a weave there. With the podcast, I'm looking to do it every 2 weeks, just so that I want to put some quality into each of the episodes. They're going to be a little bit longer than tonight. Um, and as we go along, I'm going to set a kind of a preference on any games that have been submitted that 2 week period. I'm going to try to highlight one or two of them each show so that we can see what's been submitted. If I'm all caught up on that, I'm going to go back into the archives and pull up some of the previous submissions so that we can look at those. And again, I want to highlight some of these designs. So I'm going to probably pick some of the ones that maybe weren't published or didn't get as much attention. And I'm also going to be open to interviewing new designers. If you want to come on here and talk about your experience, about your game, anything that you might want to add, again, trying to build a community that you might want to participate in. And in that regard, you can find me on X/Twitter, Hissy Cat Studio, or just Hissy Cat probably. If you're not already following me, reach out, find me there. You can DM me. Obviously, I've got the channel. Chris has a channel. You can reach out to either one of us. Chris is going to hopefully be on every podcast, but I'm not holding his feet to the fire on that. But if you want to come on and chit chat about game design and what you're working on, that would be great. And at Meandering Mike, now he's been doing some game design. I don't know if it was a class or if you were teaching, sir. You have to refresh my memory, but hopefully we can entice him into submittal this year. And again, you have till May 5th, so you're going to have quite a bit of time to get something done. And I'll talk to you, Mike, at Histocon. I saw that you have your games every morning at 9 or 10.
9 a.m.
9 o'clock. I have a 10 o'clock on Saturday where I'm doing a session. I'll try to show up because I do want to play your game and I want to play it with you, point some of the stuff out. Probably on Sunday, maybe Friday. We'll see how my work schedule
And
goes.
that's the you said it's Wolfpack the
Well, he can confirm it, but I believe he's going to have Wolfpack there, and he's playing games with Wolfpack, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that GMT is the publisher on that,
yeah,
sir?
it's GMT. It's on P500 right now. Regular price is going to be $79 when it releases.
Mm-hmm.
The P500 price right now is $52. Its status is charging. Orders to date is 1,464. So they hit the 500.
Yeah, they lapped it a couple times.
The final rule book is available for download. There's also Consum World topic for Wolfpack. Wolfpack page on Board Game Geek is there.
And if you want to see some videos on gameplay, I believe him and Tony's Board Life have quite a few.
Yeah,
and I don't have the link to Tony's Board Life's channel.
Well,
I apologize.
If you go to gmtgames.com and look up Wolfpack, or search his name, Mike Berticelli, on that page for Wolfpack, you've got links to the full game playthrough on the War Room, as well as an hour and 48-minute mission playthrough from the War Room.
Okay.
There's also an hour and 12-minute unboxing video of the pre-production copy with Mike on it.
What do they do? Unbox the whole shipping container?
Yeah, pretty much. And then there's an interview with the Player's Aid, from the Player's Aid, with the Mike Berticelli on there.
Nice. Yeah.
So, and then it gives you the description of what the game is about. It's 24 players, et cetera and so forth. Blah blah blah. This is actually something I would probably. I did not know that this was out there, or I probably would.
Well, I am. I think I just got charged, so I will be getting a copy. So. Well, and I believe Mike let us know. Doesn't that have a? Oh my God! What's that online gameplay software?
Tabletop Simulator, or
no.
The other one?
The other one. Yeah, the other one. Neither of us can remember.
One of the smart viewers out there will
he was long-winded. We're all long-winded, Mike. So, and Tank Duel. Okay, I'll check that out. I like tanks. You got me at tank. So anyway, with the show being every 2 weeks, we're going to try to really highlight a lot of the games, keep up to date with that, encourage you guys to download, play them. I know that Vassal. Thank you, Jeff. Vassal. Yeah,
that's it. Vassal.
So if you wanted to play it, Chris, when I get my copy, we can hop on Vassal and play some. That'd be cool. But I got derailed. Where was my brain at, boss? What was I talking about? Oh, the podcast. So every 2 weeks, try to get some content on, get some of the games, highlight those. Again, try to create the community for everybody, and then get some designers on here. And Mike, I'll talk to you at the con about maybe coming on. Even if you don't submit a game, I would love to have you talk, just pick your brain on some design stuff as well. So that'd be cool. Anyway, guys, if there's it, go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, even once May passes and we're all done with this, I think this would be a good form to just talk about game design in general, not just for Postcards Game Jam.
I agree.
So, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm hoping that this will turn into. Again, twice a month, I think is perfect, so we can cover a lot of different topics. With the focus being during the jam, obviously the games that are submitted and things like that. And keep in mind, once the jam ends. So I didn't really talk about that, did I? So real quick, because I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. It's already at 35 minutes. You can go in and rate the games. Please do. If you get a game and play it, be kind. Give constructive criticism if you do. Nobody wants to hear, this game sucks. Chris is tired of hearing it from me.
Why does it suck? If you truly think the game sucks, great. Why does it suck?
Exactly. Give us some feedback, give the designers feedback. Everybody appreciates that stuff. So if you do get a chance to play something and rate it, that's just to help us as designers to learn and become better at what we do. So that has no bearing on anything. There are no prizes. Now, in the first year, we had Niels do a makeover, and I was so appreciative of him doing that, and that was awesome. I will talk about real quick sponsorships. If there are game publishers out there that want to sponsor this game jam, the revenue from that, the sponsorship, would go to hiring an artist to do a makeover of somebody's game. So that would be, I put it all back into promoting and leveling up the quality of this event. But with that in mind, I think I've covered everything. Unless somebody in chat has a question, I'll give you like 5 seconds, so type fast. Otherwise, I'm going to dismiss class. And
Mike said he'll join us and play as well.
Oh, awesome. That would be cool, boss.
That would be amazing.
Yes. Yeah, I did. I want to dive into that because I've seen a couple of the play things, and I like sub stuff. I have a weakness for subs and military stuff. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for popping in, saying hi. Like I said, if you're at San Diego Histicon Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, I will have a 1-hour session. It'll be on the board. Show up, say hi. And if you see me wandering around aimlessly, as I do at these cons, pull me aside and we can chit chat, play games, do whatever. Thanks, Telemachus. I'll see you later, boss. Walkabout Games. Awesome. Let me know what you're thinking. I saw you at the MSR game. That would be pretty cool. We'll chat. Anyway, guys, with that, I'm going to end the stream. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in 2 weeks here.
Peace
2
out,
and
boys.
2, Chuck Willery.
Yep.
Bye.